You're listening to the Doctor Is In podcast, brought to you by MartinClinic.com. During the episode, the doctors share a lot of information. As awesome as the info may be, it is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. It's strictly for informational purposes.
Well, good morning, everyone. I want to do teaching this morning on sleep and what happens when you don't get a good sleep. I think it's important to go over some of these points. First of all, it's estimated that 70% of the population today don't get a good sleep. And the number one reason for poor sleep is cortisol. And cortisol is a stress hormone that your adrenal glands secrete. And if you don't get a good sleep, your cortisol goes up. If your cortisol goes up, you don't get a good sleep. So sleep is essential. And I want to tell you what happens inside the body when you don't get a good sleep. 7 things that I want to talk to you about. One, obviously, we just talked about it, is cortisol. So if you're stressed and your brain won't go to sleep, cortisol is like inside like that, the fight or flight, and it will not allow your body to shut down and to sleep properly. And the brain stays away. You might fall asleep because you're exhausted, but it'll wake you up. Cortisol has a tendency to wake you up. And again, if your cortisol keeps you from sleep, it will also go up. And that affects your circadian rhythm, your clock, your internal clock, and that really messes up your hormones. Here's another thing that happens. Because your cortisol is elevated, it also elevates your insulin, because the fight or flight automatically elevates insulin and therefore creates insulin resistance in your body. So guess what that does? Even without changing your diet, you're going to start storing more fat. And of course, that becomes very, very frustrating, you see. So a good night's sleep is essential even in weight loss, because insulin resistance, and of course we know that high circulating insulin and insulin resistance is one of the root causes of cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obviously, dementia, and Alzheimer's, and all these are always some root of it is elevated insulin. Now, the other thing that happens is a hormone that your body secretes called leptin. Now, leptin is a hormone that secretes when leptin tells you you're full. If you don't get a good night's sleep, leptin and ghrelin. Ghrelin is spelled G-R-E-H-L-I-N, ghrelin. So leptin tells you that you're full, and ghrelin tells you that you're hungry. Both of those hormones get messed up if you don't sleep properly. You see how you can gain weight and mess up your whole metabolism just by not getting a good night's sleep. The other one that is affected is your human growth hormone, HGH. Your human growth hormone is affected. So you don't get you're not building as much muscle. Your human growth hormone is secreted when you are sleeping. Here's another one. Your liver works the night shift. Okay, so when the rest of your body, it's like my cell phone here, okay? You get on the plane and you put your phone in airplane mode. That means while your phone is still, the power is still on, you're not getting any data coming in. Well, your body has that at night. As you sleep, you go into airplane mode. There's no data coming into your body, and your body starts to detox. Your liver works the night shift. It cleans your blood. That's when your blood gets cleaned the most by your liver. and your kidneys, that they're working the night shift while you're sleeping, and all you're detoxing. So do you know that your brain has its own drainage? It's called the glymphatic system. We didn't even know that existed. We know your brain detox, but we didn't know how until they discovered the glymphatic, not the lymphatic, but the glymphatic system that drains your brain of toxins while you sleep. What if you're not sleeping? Yeah. Then even your brain and the toxins, heavy metals, candida, yeast, fungus that gets across the blood-brain barrier that we've talked about in other live videos like this. Your brain doesn't even do a detox at night. Here's another one. So is leaky gut. Do you know that it's interesting, isn't it? That leaky gut, your body's gut, your gut is made up of a blood-gut barrier. It's little one lining thin of cells, bacteria, that the lining repair in your gut gets repaired when you're sleeping. So your liver, your brain, and your gut repair while you're sleeping. Isn't that incredible? See the importance of a good night's sleep? And the number one reason, remember, the number one reason that people don't sleep properly is because of high levels of cortisol. So get your cortisol down. Check your B12 levels. If you don't have good levels of B12, you won't get a good night's sleep. Another factor in sleep is vitamin D, because guess how melatonin is made? You all heard of melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that your body makes so that you sleep properly. Guess how you get melatonin? Forget the supplement, although you can take one. Your body makes melatonin with the sun. Vitamin D. That's right. Get out in the sun, because that's how your body makes melatonin. So when you get a good day of sunshine, and like it is here in Florida today, you're going to get a better night's sleep. You need melatonin to get a good night's sleep. Now, sometimes the hormone itself you can take as a supplement. I usually find, just for me, that it works only part-time. The first time you take melatonin, and for the first month or two it works, and then your body gets used to it. It's better that you get natural melatonin from the sun and from the vitamin D that your body makes from the sun. So those are all things that you need to take into consideration to get a good night's sleep. You check your magnesium levels. Oftentimes with low levels of magnesium, low levels of B12, high elevated cortisol, high elevated insulin, you won't get a good night's sleep. So that's why your diet is very important. One factor too in sleep for a lot of people is stop eating early enough. Like if you finish your supper around 6 o'clock or whatever, it's better that you give your body a good 4 hours before going to sleep to let your digestion, let your gut rest. Because if you're going to sleep and your gut is still digesting food, then that can be a factor in poor sleep quality. So thanks for watching this morning.
You've reached the end of another Dr. Is In podcast with your hosts, Dr. Martin Jr. and Sr. Be sure to catch our next episode, and thanks for listening.